Ladies and gentlemen, this is Patrick Richard Ream, head of OTW's most dominant stable PRR Incorporated, and you're listening to JB on the Wrestling Hotline.
Welcome, my friends, to the Wrestling Hotline. I'm JB, and on the show today we have the manager of PRR Incorporated, Patrick Richard Ream, and he's going to be at the OTW Arena this coming Saturday night to take on Team Cool. He's actually the manager of PRR Incorporated, and they're going to be at the OTW Arena for their premiere event this coming Saturday night. 7 o'clock is the bell time for their Soul Survivor. Get your ticket now at the OTW Arena or by calling 856-513-6901. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, please welcome Mr. PRR himself via Skype right now.
Yeah.
Patrick Richard Ream. Pat, what's going on, buddy? How you doing?
How you doing, man? Trust me, as much of it is a pleasure and an honor for you to have me on, it's an equal amount of pleasure and honor to be here with you.
All right, man, I appreciate it. All right, so tell me, who is Patrick Richard Ream? I've asked everyone this, and I'd like to get some history on Patrick Richard Ream. Tell me about him.
Patrick Richard Ream, it came about as my dad had a lot of money, and basically gave me some just to do what I wanted to do with it. And I've, as a huge pro wrestling fan, I've decided to invest and spend that money in professional wrestling. And I'm familiar with some of the guys that already worked at Old Time Wrestling, so I chose that to be my place where I kind of spent some of that.
So tell me, how did you get into the business?
There's a gentleman there now who might not see eye to eye with me anymore, but his name's Adam Chandler. He goes by Adam Chandler the Great at OTW. He's doing the heavyweight title match if you do come out to the event.
Which I am, by the way. I'm going to be there tomorrow night to check it out to see what the hype is. This is like, from what I hear, this is like your WrestleMania.
It's not hype. That's the trick. See, that's the thing. It's when it comes down to it, it's not hype. Well, we are the real deal. It's classic pro wrestling for a reason for us. But I had the chance to meet him, and he had the chance to sort of introduce me and got me a meeting with the owner, Jim Molyneux, who used to be a former ECW referee, James Molyneux. And he sort of welcomed me into the fold that way, I guess, is the best way to describe it.
All right, so tell me, what appealed to you about becoming a manager versus a pro wrestler? Was there, when you were younger, was there a Mr. Fuji, a Bobby the Brain Heenan?
Wizard. I really liked Grand Wizard. I did like Heenan, too, don't get me wrong. Heyman, everybody loves Heyman, especially nowadays. Grand Wizard was always really there was just something about him. It was intangible. The way he interacted with his clients and the way he.
Who was the Grand Wizard? I don't recall the name though.
WWF, 3 W's F.
Wow.
A little bit of the WWF too as well. He wore this turban and this really weird eye gear. It was strange. It was just it was almost abnormal, but it was larger than life. And that time period of professional wrestling was truly about characters that were larger than life. And a lot of credit goes to the guys who were in the ring, and that's great because those guys do deserve the credit. But the guys in the out of the ring, Freddie Blassie, class Freddie Blassie, perfect example. A guy who just knew so well how to just needle at people. That was always entertaining to me. That was there was the story in the ring and there was a story out of the ring, and the story out of the ring was just extremely entertaining to me. You
know what's funny? I saw one of the promos that you cut on your YouTube page, and I told, when Brian came over here and to the studio and did the interview, I told him, you have the gift of gab. You're like a Paul Heyman. You're the guy that it just flows right out of you. And, as a manager, it takes a lot of skill. So, I mean, kudos to you, man, for just having that gift, because it's either you do or you don't.
Well, yeah, I mean, they call me the man with the $1 million mouth for a reason. I'm not gonna lie. It is. I tell people all the time, inside of wrestling, outside of wrestling, that the gift of gab, my ability to talk, has been my strongest suit my entire life, ever since I was a young kid. It was very apparent at a young age that I would have this ability to flow so nicely, as you might put it. And as trust me, it's a huge compliment for me to call me like a Paul Heyman. I really appreciate that, but it's not what I'm seeking to do. I'm not trying to be the next Paul Heyman. I'm not trying to be the next Bobby Heenan.
Nothing wrong with it, though.
No, there's
nothing wrong with it.
No, it's like I said, it's a huge compliment, but I really am striving to be the first Patrick Ream. I'm really striving to be the first of a new flavor, if you will.
All right. So tell me, how long have you been managing professionally? I mean, were you how long?
A year and a half. I've been doing it for a year and a half. I actually, this is a strange story, but I debuted on my 22nd birthday.
Happy birthday for you.
Yeah, thank you. Well, that was a while back.
Yeah, exactly.
But it was an awesome birthday present. I came out to the crowd. And I helped. It was my first client, Craig Francis. He was in the middle of a strap match, a very awesome strap match he was having with the Wild Man Chris Dace. And right as the Wild Man was about to win, I got up on the ringside, put some powder in his face, and the rest is history.
I was just about to say the rest is history. What's your feeling? I mean, you're the manager of PR Incorporated.
Yeah.
What's your feeling before a match, especially for tomorrow night, Soul Survivor, 7 o'clock at the OTW Arena? Make sure you're there. Get your tickets at the arena, or you can give them a call as well. What's your feeling before a big match? What are you telling your guys?
I very much encourage them. Like, it's not just when I go out and talk about how my clients are the best thing that OTW and really all of professional wrestling has to offer. It's not just hype for me. I truly mean it. Every time I go out there and I'm talking to them right before we hit that curtain, I'm telling them that same exact thing, that this is going to be your best match, and you are the best, and you deserve to be wherever you are, however far you've made it.
All right, so tell me, how do you, if you were the owner of the company, or you could make, sprinkle dust over the OTW, per se, how would you like to see the OTW grow as a business, as a brand? What would you do?
I've put a lot of focus into the YouTube channel. I know we've been putting a lot of focus on the YouTube channel, and that would be really cool. There's a lot of, I don't know how much you follow YouTube, but there's a lot of people that are getting quite successful on YouTube. There's gamers, game reviewers, comedians, things like that. They make their business in YouTube. They make their living on YouTube. And it would be super cool if we could be the first promotion that actually makes their business on YouTube, because it's tough. It's tough when you're a small indie promotion to sort of make yourself and make it as successful as it can be. And these guys have it in them to make it a very successful place. So if we could capitalize on that and make the YouTube like our place to be, and we would become the promotion on YouTube, that would be very cool. I think that's something that we could do.
What do you think of the OTW and the direction that they're going right now?
I like the direction they're going. There's a lot of good guys there that are really starting to come into their own there. You got guys like Dave Davis. He's going to be facing my other client, Mick Drake. He's made a lot lot of steps.
That's
recently.
For the Classic Championship tomorrow.
That is for the Classic Championship tomorrow, yes. Which I do hope my client wins, don't get me wrong. I want Mick Drake to win. He's the alpha dog for a reason. But Dave Davis has come a long way. He proved it when he faced Andy Bivens, my client that you had on the other day. They did a best-of-5 series. He proved that he's coming along. Adam Chandler, as I said, is coming along quite well. He's in that heavyweight title match. That's a big spot for him. But they are having a lot of progress. A lot of the guys there are really making steps, and the way we're going is hot. We're a freight train, man. We're really going right now.
You're trying to move forward. Do you see yourself outgrowing the OTW and possibly moving on to a bigger promotion?
See, I hate the way it's phrased. Like, it's not about outgrowing OTW, because OTW is larger than life. It may be in a small building, but OTW is the embodiment of what I think professional wrestling should be. So it wouldn't be a matter of outgrowing it. That's not to say I wouldn't see myself in a larger promotion, or wouldn't like to be in a larger promotion, but OTW in a really weird kind of way is bigger than it seems. It's much larger than the scale is actually put on it, and that's the trick about it. But gladly, I'll go anywhere. I'll take my mouth anywhere, and I'll show that my clients are the best anywhere.
Good. I mean, I like that attitude. It's you've got a winning attitude, and in any business, especially being as a manager, if you want your guys to be successful, you got to have a good manager. How did this feud come about? I talked to Andy Bivens yesterday on the program, and how did this feud with Team Cool Pants, which I still can't get over their name. Team Cool Pants, how did it come about?
They didn't come up with their own name. The illustrious OTW fan nation came up with them, which they're not wrong. I mean, every one of those guys does have cool pants. I'm not going to lie and say their pants aren't cool. But the creativity of the OTW fan nation really showed itself there when they came up with that. Name. It wasn't anything like big or personal. It's personal now, but it didn't start that way. They were just having like a I think it was Andy, or it might have been Craig, was having a match against one of them, and nothing unusual, just a pretty standard match. I did what I always do when I get a match, which is try to ensure that my boys win. And one of them decided that they were going to put their hands on me for doing what I do as a manager.
And that's a no-no.
And that's not when you have clients like I have. That's definitely a no-no. My boys have been here. Andy's been here a huge amount of years. Craig's been here a huge amount of years. Mick's been here a huge amount of years. They've got a lot of tenure, and then they've got a lot of weight they can throw around, both physically and sort of metaphorically. And these kids, bless them, because they're trying, they really are, and they got a lot of heart, but they decided to to try to have their sole survivor moment at the expense of PR Incorporated. And as I like saying, money talks, and money is about Soul Survivor, and Soul Survivor is about being the best. And PR Incorporated is going to prove that they're that. It's Team Cool Pants just isn't quite there yet. I
can't get over their name. I mean, PRR Incorporated. It sounds like when I think of PRR Incorporated, I think of like IRS and the $1 Million Man with Virgil. That's what I see with you guys. It's
the initialism thing, and you're right. It truly is. But that's what speaks to money and speaks to power, and that's what I'm all about. It's not a game with me. It's legitimately what it is. Money makes the world go round. It was Gordon Gekko in Wall Street. Greed is good, and greed is good. Gold's good.
So tell me, what do you think of pro wrestling today, like the WWE, NXT, TNA? I've asked the other guys this. I'm just trying to get your opinion on it.
Yeah. Do you want me to do it like one by one?
You're more than welcome to.
First of all, TNA, the move of Destination America, has really shown them a lot of strides. Honestly, TNA's done some cool things. They picked up Ethan Carter III, who's an awesome, just all around performer.
Hashtag EC3, by the way.
Hashtag EC3, yeah.
EC3.
But seriously, that guy is. If there's ever been like a complete package, like that guy's it. He gets humor, he gets serious, he gets anger, he gets sad, he gets it. He gets it all, and he can go in the ring. It always it's funny when he wrestles and like the crowd starts chanting, "You can't wrestle" to him. It's kind of weird because he can go. The kid can go. And they got Angle there, who Angle is, I don't know how old now, but still moves like he's a machine.
He's like 40 something, I think.
There. And they got a MVP leading up the BDC right now, and that is just phenomenal television. If you haven't been watching it, you should, because that storyline alone is worth watching. TNA because of the sort of the drama it brings, sort of the realness he brings in particular. Is just all around. It's a good package. I know that they've been the move to Destination America threw some people off, especially with their viewership. But if you ain't watching, you should be, because that show, almost from top to bottom, the Knockouts division is phenomenal. The things that Taryn Terrell is doing with Gail Kim and Awesome Kong, or the Dollhouse now that they have, is just like I said, from top to bottom. That card's I think way better than most people have had a chance to see. And I know a lot of people have been burned by TNA earlier on, and they had some moments earlier on. But if you have a chance to watch them, you should, because what they're doing now, they're pumping out good stuff. NXT, really like the view. A lot of guys, I guess, like us or like OTW, a lot of guys from the indie scene are starting to make their name down there.
There's real quick. There's a guy from the OTW that was on the Tough Enough. Am I correct? Or that's trying out for Tough Enough?
Yeah. We have multiple guys trying out for Tough Enough. Number one, Brian Johnson's trying out for Tough Enough. Stephen Gibkey from the Down Boys is trying out. The one who made it to TV, the one who made it to Raw on Monday. There was they do those video packages where they show everyone online. That's Mike Orlando.
Yep.
He's the elite athlete. He is he talk about kids who can go in the ring. That guy can go in the ring. That guy, that's not a gimmick for him. That is 100% real life who he is. Because that guy was a D3 linebacker at Keene University. They retired his jersey. No one's going to wear his number ever again. That guy's a machine, and he has a very good chance. And by all means, he should be. Where the guys from Tough Enough end up at the end, if they end up in NXT, they're going to be in good company. Because they're picking like one guy and one girl, I think it is.
Yeah, I think it's like $250,000 and a year contract. The one thing I like about NXT is that it's almost like the proving ground. You know, you get a lot of guys that come from these indie wrestling companies that end up going to NXT, and the WWE really builds their character and builds them up. I mean, like I was telling Andy yesterday, Bray Wyatt, for example, is a perfect example. The guy came up through Tough Enough and was in NXT. Really didn't have a name. Husky Harris.
Yeah, he was the Ferrari. He was the tank with the Ferrari engine.
Yeah, nobody really knew who he was, and next thing you know, he's Bray Wyatt, and you know, it's just wham! It's just they're really good at creating characters.
I think if I had to give credit to anyone, I'd give credit to him because I'm pretty sure that's more of a love child of his, and by all means, he should take credit for it because that's a phenomenal character that came up, and that was more the FCW time. A lot of the early Bray Wyatt stuff that really gets talked about is from when he was facing like Euro and when he was facing he was cutting promos talking about Pale Riders on the like the Moonlight and stuff like that. That's from FCW. That's from back when before it was even NXT. The proving ground is definitely a good way to phrase it as far as the wrestling is concerned, and it is a great developmental story from a rather a developmental territory rather from a wrestling standpoint. But the character thing always gets a little skewed when you actually look at it because you have guys that like develop these really solid, really foundational characters down there that have a lot of room to grow, and then you have them come up to the main roster and not. It's weird calling it the main roster now too, because the way NXT's grown, it's almost not like there's a separation at this point. But a lot of times when they make it to, let's say, Raw or SmackDown, let's not call it the main roster, some things like about them changed. Like the Ascension was dominant down in NXT, and their gimmick was more gothic, I guess.
They were almost like Demolition. Like, and that's a character. It's funny that you bring them up because they're ones that like. I only see them as B card players, or I'm sorry, mid card players.
That's weird because I don't think that.
I see them great in NXT because I feel that the level that they're at is like at the top of NXT and at the bottom of the main roster. But
see, the weird thing is, so my point about, because you brought about how that's like a good place to develop, but the character changed dramatically. Like the style, the entrance, it all changed when they made it to Raw and SmackDown. And I mean, listen, sometimes change isn't a bad thing, but for them, I think it kind of was because those kids, like, there's a lot in them. Connor is the bigger guy. He was actually on NXT too, not the one that Bray was on. But he was working with Del Rio, and his gimmick was that he was a rat, and he was like really obsessed with cheese for some. Like it was a weird gimmick for him, but he sort of found his own as a part of the Ascension. And Victor, same thing. Victor has really gotten to the swing of things. But then they came up here, and the gimmick changed. They were sort of gothic and dark down in NXT, but then they came up here and they got the shoulder pads and the face paint and things. I don't know. It felt weird. I feel like there was more there that didn't get capitalized on because there was a different image for them. And I get it. It's a different writing team or different creative or whatever you want to call it. But I don't know. There was more there. Bray's one of the only ones that I feel like came through and didn't come through. Or Bray and Emma, I think, are the two that came through from NXT, and the gimmick didn't really change, and who they were didn't really change.
What do you think about Neville? That guy's amazing.
Hands down, one of the best pure athletes they have. The things he can do, you ain't gonna see me doing any of them.
Exactly.
On Saturday, there's definitely something special about him. The way he moves in the ring, and the way that the fans just. We talk about gravity and how the man that, he's the man that gravity forgot, but the gravity he has and the gravity that he pulls people in with.
He's like a modern day Evan Bourne.
I don't know about that. I think he's
just high flying wise.
I mean, yeah, as far as the what he does, but as far as the sort of presence he has, it's much wider. There's inherently something about him that is you're drawn to watch him. It's not that you want to watch him. He gets in the ring and you feel like you need to watch him. Like he pulls you in that much.
Like your boys from PRR.
Well, yeah, my boys pull you in whether you want to hear.
Exactly, you've got to watch them. You have no other choice. You don't give them an option.
You have to watch. You have to watch my clients if you want to see something that's interesting. If you want to see something that's classy. If you want to see who's at the top of the food chain, you watch my clients. You watch Craig Francis. You watch Andy Bivens. You watch Mick Drake. They are the guys to watch at OTW, hands down.
All right, so tell me, if you could give one piece of advice to someone that's trying to break into the business as a manager, what would it be?
It's cliche to always say, get your schooling done first, because as much as you're not putting your body on the line as the guys who are going to be wrestlers and are going to be divas, knockouts, whatever you want to call them, men's and women's wrestlers, it's important still. That piece of paper can do wonders for you. So you want to try to knock that out first before you do anything else. And then after that, find a wrestling school. Find one close. Find one that has a good reputation. Find one that people relate to. And try to find people. Don't necessarily settle on the first one you see. Go around. Shop your options like you'd shop anything else in life. And when you find one that's the right fit for you, and it will do further for you. It's always easier to achieve something that you like. So it's just like picking a job. You want to pick a place where it sort of makes sense for you.
Why'd you pick the OTW though?
Outside of the fact that I already knew Adam prior to going there, there's this atmosphere there. It feels like a place where people still care about professional wrestling. And growing up in a town where the people were wealthier, to say the least. Well, I grew up in two towns. One town where people were not so wealthy, one town where people were very wealthy. And spending the last few years in the town where people were very wealthy, there's a sort of distance to it, to professional wrestling that people don't touch. But you go to OTW and you can feel it there. There's no distance there. It's the people at OTW, both the people performing and the people who go and watch every week at 2 p.m. There's no distance for them. It's there. It's there for them. They care in and out. That's just why I can't explain it because there are other areas. There are other training areas. Monster Factory. I could go down to Right Coast Pro. I could go up to Warriors Wrestling in New York. But there's just something about OTW that like I said, I just can't explain it. I was drawn to there. If I had to pick a place to start, I knew I wanted this to be the place to start.
So tell me, how can people get in touch with you? Do you have a Facebook page, Twitter? What's the YouTube page so people can follow what's going on with the OTW?
Yeah, if you want to get in contact, at PR Incorporated on Twitter, and at OTW_updates, just for the regular OTW. The OTW YouTube page is youtube.com/OTW Classic Pro Wrestling. And you can find me on Facebook as well, /PatrickReam91, if you want to see things that way. We encourage everyone to take some time, stop by, check us out. There's a lot of good things going on. The YouTube page in particular has done some dramatic improvements recently. So it's good. Check it out, man. We're there.
I'd like to thank Patrick Richard Ream, the manager for PRR Incorporated. Catch him this coming Saturday night, 7 p.m. at Soul Survivor. Get your tickets now at the OTW Arena, or just go to the venue tomorrow night, 7 p.m., 1041 Glassboro Road, Williamstown, New Jersey. See ya!